We's back.
Coming in hot.
I did not prepare Mac for that. But hey, last week we missed. Honestly, my bad. It happens. Life happens. But I got good news for you, Mac. The Mandalorian Rewatch returns next week, Season 2, Chapter 9, The Marshal, next week.
Boom.
And we've got some special guests with us on that episode that I think you're going to be really excited to see on the podcast.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, we can just go ahead and say we got Star Wars Explained coming
Alex
on.
and Molly.
They're going to be breaking down the first episode of Season 2 with us. That's all going to be going next week. We took a little bit of a break last week, and then this week we've got a very special episode. We're actually going to be talking about Star Wars Visions, Volume 3. It has come out this week. And we're going to be basically just running down all the shorts and giving our thoughts on them. May even do a little ranking or something like that for Season 3 when we get done with that. But that's not the only thing we're going to be doing. We also have some news.
Oh my
We got some rumors to address.
Okay. What a week to miss last week because, I haven't seen the Star Wars fan base so united since The Force Awakens. And honestly, it's been beautiful to see. It's been kind of amazing to see, and moving in a way of man, that's what we needed to bring us all back. We're going to talk about the hunt for Ben Solo. Yeah. Adam Driver dropping huge news on a Monday, just a random Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
And it's broken the Star Wars world. If you don't know what we're talking about, we're going to get into this much more detail after we're done talking about Season 3 of Star Wars Visions. And we're going to be talking about just our thoughts on it and what could happen with that going forward, because I'm not convinced, Mac, that this wasn't some sort of planned marketing attack.
Yeah.
Just the way that it's setting up right now, I'm kind of I think we still might see this in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I definitely think there could be a slight conspiracy afoot. Just with the way it hit the news cycle and the way that, just the entire world has seemed to latch on to it and everything.
Yeah.
It seems maybe a little strategic, but we'll talk about all of that. We're going to get into all the details, giving all of our thoughts about a potential Ben Solo movie, all that kind of stuff at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
But I think we should get to...
Well, we do have a bit of more news, just a little sprinkle of news about the Mandalorian and Grogu.
A little smattering, if you will.
A spatter. Yeah, okay. So Jeremy Allen White has been talking a lot about the Mandalorian Grogu because he's been promoting the, what's that movie he's in? The Bruce
Deliver
Springsteen.
Me From Nowhere. The Boss documentary, or biopic, rather.
Are you going to see that? Is that something you're interested in?
I'll definitely catch it when it hits streaming. We'll see if we'll see if I make it to the theater. Probably not. But I like The Boss, I like some Springsteen. But
I have no opinion.
I don't think Springsteen or Jeremy Allen White are going to get me not going to get my butt in a seat in the theater. I don't
not
think.
Worth $15.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's been going on the interview circuit, and of course people are going to be asking him about the Mandalorian and Grogu, and my man's talking, and I don't know if he's supposed to be, but he is.
I don't know how much the Lucasfilm PR department is appreciating these interviews. But
honestly, though, to be honest with you, he needs to talk more because, I think that's the way you get people generated, interest in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why Starfighter is kind of almost leading in the marketing push, even though it comes out much later. I think just the names attached and the personalities attached are coming through, and Jeremy Allen White's really kind of the only person out there talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu right now. So let him talk. I think
let him talk. He went on the Graham Norton show, which he always has great clips. By the way, Graham Norton show, always great clips. But he said that Rata, that's how he's pronouncing it, Rada is essentially a main character in the film. Like you were talking about, Mac, what you were hinting at, like his presence is going to be large, not just physically, but like the plot of the movie pretty much revolves around him. Even said at some point, like he moves pretty fast in the movie, like a fast hut, which is going to be kind of cool to see. But
yeah, reminds me of the description of Nema the Hutt from the Aftermath books. She was like a prehistoric primordial hut, and was more like snake-like than slug-like. So hopefully we're not going to get in that territory, cool, but interested to see what buff Rada is going to end up, moving like, and what his presence is going to be like on screen.
Yeah. So, and then Sigourney Weaver was recently at some sort of con and said that she only spent a few days filming her part, which is super interesting. I think that means she really is just filling in the Grief Karga role of giving the mission, and that's it. I don't think she has much to do with the plot at all. Now, based on those comments, I think, unless this is some sort of swerve and red herring from her, which I don't think is.
No.
I think she's just there to give the mission.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's what this says to me as well. I kept, hoping for and speculating about different possibilities for that character. Maybe even being like a big missing link between the New Republic getting into the Resistance and the First Order and all that kind of stuff. Nope. Starting to temper my expectations now. I think we're gonna have Sigourney Weaver show up, and that'll be cool. We'll get to see her in Star Wars in the X-Wing pilot uniform, and that'll be cool. And that'll kind of be the end of it,
I think what you said, though, is really good. Temper expectations. Until we get more footage, until we get some sort of idea about the plot, I think that's a really good idea. I want that movie to be so much. I want that movie to do so well. But if we put unrealistic expectations on it, it's going to be a disappointment. Exactly. You know what I mean? So I think let's just take it for what it is right now. Let's see what they give us in terms of marketing going forward, in terms of, man, I really hope we get a trailer that gives us an inkling of the story. Give us a little something that you maybe normally wouldn't give us in a trailer. Something that, like, in the past era of this new era of Lucasfilm, you wouldn't give it to us, because I think we need it for this movie, and generate that excitement and buzz, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'm with you there. If there's anything that you can spare in terms of giving us a little taste of some of the surprises you have in store, go ahead and give that to us. I think that could go a long way in generating some hype and stuff like that.
Yeah, so for sure. All right, so I'm Alex Maxwell, and joining me as always is
Mac Lacey. And if you're new to our show, I have no idea what you do for these intros, but basically we're Children of the Watch. We break down every episode of Star Wars television, going scene by scene, pointing out all the Easter eggs and details you may have missed, making connections to other places in the Star Wars galaxy.
You got it, dude. You nailed it.
All right, we'll roll with that. We'll roll with that. But that's what we do. But today in particular, we are reviewing Star Wars Visions Volume 3.
Let's go. Yeah, so, okay. I am a huge fan of Star Wars Visions. If you're not aware of what it is, it's basically these animation studios, mainly in Japan. Season 2 were some other ones from all over the world, but Season 1, Season 3, mainly Japan animation studios, anime style sort of Star Wars. And these aren't meant to be taken as canon. Now, some of them absolutely fit within canon. Yeah. And we're going to talk about some of those from Volume 3 today. But I think you're just supposed to take these of like cool Star Wars stories. And I like that. I love that concept.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a very valuable thing. I kind of think of them almost as really high budget, really high production quality fan films that Lucasfilm is producing in collaboration with a lot of, really cool names and stuff in the anime, like in Japanese animation specifically. And I think it's a really cool way to not only showcase a lot of what we love about Star Wars in different aesthetic styles or different settings or playing with the world's rules a little bit, you can kind of get some of those what if type stories with these. But you can also just get like a fresh interpretation of the same, tenets that we come to expect from Star Wars and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they're really cool. Some of them resonate with me more than others.
Absolutely.
But I think all of them, there's something worth talking about for them.
Absolutely. So. And that's the thing about Star Wars Visions and what we're going to be talking about. We're not going to be doing like scene by scene breakdowns of each of these shorts because honestly, I don't know what the point of that would be other than the Ninth Jedi, which is getting its own spinoff series, which it should. In my opinion, that one is one of the top ones from season 1. It's got a sequel in this one in volume 3. I love that story and want to see it continue. But in terms of these other ones, I think we're just going to talk about them a little bit more generally and what we liked, what maybe didn't work for us. And then maybe, like we said at the beginning of the podcast, kind of try to rank them in terms of our favorites. So let's start just kind of in order how you would be watching them at home with the Duel Payback, which is a sequel to the very first one in season 1 called The Duel. And it follows the character of the Ronin, who is a former Sith Lord who is now traveling the galaxy with his droid and basically hunting down the other Sith. And that's a really cool concept within itself.
Yeah, for sure. There's something like Kill Bill about it a little bit. I like it. It's definitely fresh for Star Wars that the Ronin is the protagonist of these stories. Like we are kind of rooting for the Ronin, but he's a Sith. I like that interesting take. And I like that our hero doesn't have to play by the same rules that we necessarily expect a Jedi to have to play by and stuff. So
yeah, I love that. And I love how his lightsaber is so much like a katana and the way he pulls it out of the sheath and how it extinguishes when he puts it back in. I think that's super, super cool. I thought the characters in this one in particular were really awesome. The female Sith with the Twi'lek with her head tails up almost like hair.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was really cool and unique and something I have never seen in Star Wars before. I thought that was really nice. I like the idea of a Jedi being a villain like that.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because I wasn't exactly sure what the parameters of all of that were. I didn't know if he was struggling with his programming, if there was corruption there, or if it was... I
think it's just such a different take on what Jedi and Sith are. Like, and I want to get into that a little bit because I brought my Ronin book with me, and this to me is the best version of that character and of that story. It starts with volume 1. And then it continues and finishes the story. So like the episode that we got in volume 3 kind of wipes this story out, even though none of it's canon anyway.
Right.
But I when we're done talking about this, I want to read the excerpt from this just real quick, just like the book flap cover thing, because I think it gives us a ton of context of what is actually happening in this that I feel like I'm missing a little bit whenever I'm watching these two shorts in particular. I know these ones are super popular with most Star Wars fans. Like this is the one where they kind of sell the entire Visions outlet, honestly, is on the Ronin, because I think the animation style is incredible. I love this animation style, the black and white with the lightsabers being the only thing in color. I think that's really, really cool. Yeah. And there's a lot of really cool, unique things that it's got going for it, but personally, neither of these are my favorite.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I'm with you in that the animation style is really breathtaking to look at. I love all the textural qualities it has, the mixture of 2D effects over like 3D models and stuff like that. It's a really cool blend, and I like the world. I like the sort of supposition of Star Wars onto feudal Japan. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
And because those influences of samurai movies and stuff like that have been there since the beginning of Star Wars, I think it's, a really cool way to just explore those things in particular. But the stories are not as, they're really kind of fights. They're fights.
Yeah,
like each short is, I mean, it's called The Duel. So that is what they're saying. Like, it's as advertised. But
good point.
I could use, there's not much character stuff to grab me other than just the mystery of kind of who the Ronin is. He a good guy? Is he a bad guy? I really like the Ronin's lightsaber. All of the other lightsabers,
little ridiculous.
They get a little over the top. All of the little the spider arm saber and stuff, and then in the first one has the umbrella apparatus that the other Sith uses. So I mean, some of that is just not really for me. But yes, but I think they're cool. I'm glad that they exist and stuff. I think
love
cool.
the Ewoks in this. I do like the concept of Ewoks being off of Endor and exploring the galaxy and getting into all sorts of hijinks that way.
Becoming spacefaring.
Yes, I want to explore that. I want to know what Ewoks are doing off of Endor, how they're faring in the galaxy. All that's great because to me, the way that they kind of help the Ronin and it's just fantastic. They're underwater doing things. Loved it. 10 out of 10 on that part.
Yeah. Love that. But yeah, this one was not terribly memorable. Like when I'm thinking of both of the Duel shorts, they kind of run together for me, and not in the way that it all seems like a unified story or anything. It just kind of they seem like a little bit the same. Can
I tell you what I think my issue is with it? And this is so, I understand. This is so nerdy and not even fair, to be honest with you. I acknowledge it. It's the inconsistency of ships and technology that's throwing me off because we've got former stormtroopers, but they're not stormtroopers. They're former First Order troopers everywhere. That armor is everywhere. But then in this particular episode, we had Clone Wars Republic gunships being flown around. I'm like, what? I think everything would be fixed for me. And honestly, I would even try to be in my head considering it canon somehow if they had different ship designs and armor designs for some of the bad guys. Because this is this is just 25,000 years before Star Wars. That's all this is.
Right.
This is Dawn of the Jedi time. This is that's so easy to fix in my head, but when you throw in just the random, hey, here's an X-Wing. What? Why? You know what I mean? It doesn't fit what's going on.
Yeah. I don't think I'm bothered on that level because this is just it's just taking symbols from Star Wars and symbols from samurai movies, feudal Japan, that kind of stuff, and throwing them together into a blender. So I'm not really bothered by any of that stuff.
It does bother me. I just got to be honest. I got to be honest with everyone. But okay, this book came out after Volume 1. It's called Ronin. It starts with the Volume 1 short, and then it continues the story after that. Okay, what happens next? So I want to read the little blurb in the front, the book cover thing, because I think it's going to give us context for what's going on, even though this particular short kind of wipes the story out. I think it helps us. What is the stakes here? What's going on? So it gives us a little story. So the Jedi are the most loyal servants of the Empire. 2 decades ago, Jedi clans clashed in service to feuding lords. Sickened by this endless cycle, a sect of Jedi rebelled, seeking to control their own destiny and claim power in service of no master. They called themselves Sith. Already 10 out of 10. Love that idea. Okay. The Sith rebellion failed, succumbing to infighting and betrayal, and the once rival lords unified to create an empire, but even an empire at peace is not free from violence. Far on the edge of the Outer Rim, one former Sith wanders, accompanied only by a faithful droid and the ghost of a less civilized age. He carries a lightsaber, but claims lineage to no Jedi clan and pledges allegiance to no Lord. Little is known about him, including his home, for he never speaks of his past nor his regrets. His history is as guarded as the red blade of destruction he carries sheathed at his side. As the galaxy's perpetual cycle of violence continues to interrupt his self-imposed exile, he is forced to duel an bandit. Claiming the title of Sith, it becomes clear that no amount of wondering will ever let him outpace the specters of his former life. This book is worth a read because it is awesome. So if you like The Duel and you like The Duel Payback, I'm doing a free advertisement right now. Not a lot of people know about this book. Read this book. It is so, especially if you're into anime. They've got like mass characters in this, very much anime style. Like, this is awesome. And it ends his story in a way that this one doesn't.
Gotcha.
So check it out is all I'm saying.
Cool.
All right. So let's go on to the Song of Four Wings. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is the most forgettable one of the volumes.
So I'll go. I understand why you maybe say that. It is, I think, a rehash and distillation of a lot of very tried and true Star Wars elements. I think the main character, I can't remember the princess's name, but
so
seems sort of like if A New Hope centered around Leia instead of Luke, basically. Yeah. But then a lot of the same types of events happen and has a very similar narrative arc and stuff like that. I really like the music a lot. The music with the animation style really works for me. I thought there were some very just fun ideas, like the droid becoming like X-Wing armor, like an X-Wing jetpack type deal. Yeah. I had fun with that. That's fun. Again, none of it has to none of it affects Star Wars, so do whatever.
I know.
You know, but I do think your criticism of it being kind of, yeah, it's just sort of a Star Wars thing that is out there is true.
I think too, and this is no shade at this studio or the other studios that we talk about, but and no shade if this is one of your favorites, because this is just opinions, you know, like whatever. This felt like the studio was like, hey, we want you to make a Star Wars thing, and they're like, sweet, we're gonna make our own thing with Star Wars skin on it.
Yeah,
that's what this feels like, because the next one we're about to talk about feels like Star Wars to me. You know what I mean? Like different. I feel like these different studios approached it very differently in terms of like, let's make this something we've never seen before in Star Wars and just go wacky and zany, which I kind of feel like Song of Four Wings kind of did a little bit.
Yeah.
Like with the mech suit and stuff like that. You don't really see that in Star Wars. Not really.
Yeah.
But then like the next one, the Ninth Jedi, I feel like is actually in the far future of Star Wars. Like, to me, it is canon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has that same, it feels almost like a High Republic story or an old, something from the dawn of the Jedi time, or like you said, something just in the future so far removed from, the original trilogy or the prequels or the sequels. But it also just has that mythological feeling that you look for. It seems like a fairy tale a little bit. It's larger than life. It's it hits a lot of the right notes. The pacing is really good. I think they get what makes Star Wars stories interesting in terms of stakes and tensions and the different narrative lines you have to have going kind of at the same time.
But before we get into the Ninth Jedi, Child of Hope fully, is there any last thing that you want to say about the Song of Four Wings?
Not really. I mean, I enjoy it, but it's not my least favorite. It's not my favorite.
That one had the Mon Calamari in it, right?
Yes.
So it had that. Yeah. That was nice. All right. So the Ninth Jedi, Child of Hope. This is another one that is a sequel to one in Volume 1, which was my favorite one from Volume 1. It still might be my favorite of all of them.
Yeah.
Especially that first one. The Ninth Jedi, there's just something so special about it. And like I said, to me, it's almost like this is 1,000 years after the Skywalker saga in my head of like, it's still, the cycle's still going. There's still Jedi, there's still Sith, but it's very different from what you remember. Like there's these slight differences, but it's still so Star Wars to me.
Yeah.
And that's what this feels like. Now, this is a continuation of that first story where you've got the main character whose father is missing. He was taken by the Jedi hunters, and he's the one who can make lightsabers. He's the only one that can really make any lightsabers because none of the Sith or Jedi had any until he was making them. That's another cool element to me.
I like that a lot too. There's a lot of Jedi and Sith, like mainly in the first one and stuff, that you meet who have gone their whole Jedi careers without lightsabers, which is just a concept that's so removed for us. But I love that.
Me too.
Especially when, it reinforces that idea that a Jedi is way more than the weapon they carry. That's, there's different schools of thought because also, this weapon is your life. It depends. But I like the idea that a Jedi is a Jedi, no matter what. It's their connection to the Force that makes them a Jedi, not carrying a lightsaber. So but it's a fun. It's like it causes this arms race amongst Force users, which is a cool concept.
Super cool concept. And so like this story in particular is following that first one where they're still on the trail for her father. And then they kind of come across like Star Wars adventure. They're still being chased by the bad guys. Bounty hunters are after them. Yep. And they have kind of this side adventure. And I wasn't sure, like, I kind of wanted more Sith, but I really enjoyed the bounty hunters in this. I thought the designs were super cool. I thought the bad guys, even though they kind of look like ducks, look really, really cool.
They have like a World War I gas mask.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah.
That kind of gives this almost like dystopic feel to the enemy forces. I like it. Yeah, and then the ship that she ends up on that has just been like crashed into this asteroid field was super cool. Like this whole like monastery type ship I thought was incredible. The idea of it and the droid on there who was still trying to get to his master. And when she finally helps him to do that and he finds that the master had been killed, I was kind of waiting for a twist because the first one has such a big twist in it. Right. I was waiting for a twist and it never came, but I was good with that. Like there's just this is just solid Star Wars storytelling to me. Yeah, and I think that's what separates this for me from something like the Duel. It's more than just a cool concept. It's also the narrative meat to go with that. And it can keep delivering on that, even after this second installment and enough that, we'll be doing a series and stuff.
Which is so cool. Like, my question, I guess, for the series is, are they going to rehash the first two episodes? Is that part of the series? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or are they going to continue from here? I almost, after this one finished, I was like, I think the series is just going to pick up after this.
I think you can. I mean, especially depending on what kind of title sequence you put on. You can rehash what happens in the first two episodes in the title sequence for the series, and have kind of a little visual recap.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a thing that anime do often. So,
I hope it has a sweet anime opening with the song, and that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I don't know, but it's Production IG is the studio behind these. They do so much, just everything. They've done a lot of like some Ghost in the Shell stuff.
That makes sense.
They've done I think they did a lot of the animation that ends up in the Kill Bill movies. Second Kill
cool.
Bill reference. They do a lot of stuff. Their filmography and series list is super long.
I wonder if they've done Gundam. I have to see now.
Yeah, I don't think they've done any Gundam. The studio that did the Song of Four Wings, which is Project Studio Q, they have done the most recent Gundam series.
That makes sense. That looks almost okay. Yeah, the look is there for sure.
Yeah, I had to do some behind the scenes research on the productions and other things they've done, and when I did that, it made a lot of sense for a lot of them. Some of them surprised me though. Some of them are nothing like anything the rest of the stuff the studio's done. So
yeah, and that's cool that they experimented with Star Wars and that. So yeah, I cannot wait to see where the Ninth Jedi series goes. I thought this story was incredible. I think at first when I initially watched it, I was hoping for a bit more. Like I was hoping for like the Sith to be involved, like in the first episode.
Yeah.
But I think probably I had really high expectations on the Ninth Jedi because it was my favorite coming into it. But like as it settled, as I've kind of thought through and seen the rest of them, I think this one is just as good as the first one for me. Like I just really, really connect with the Ninth Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, any last thoughts on the Ninth Jedi, Child of Hope?
Just that a lot of the wide environmental and atmospheric shots are gorgeous. Like you said, the big cathedral-like ship thing, it reminded me of something out of like Warhammer 40K.
Yeah.
But a lot of the big wide shots were really inspired.
Yeah, I thought it was so cool. I really liked it. I know that you liked this next one called The Bounty Hunters, and as I was watching it, I thought to myself, Mac is gonna love this one.
Yeah, I mean the same logic worked for me now when that did when I was like 8 years old, which is if you have a protagonist and you paint them black with red highlights. I really like them. Shadow the Hedgehog follows that formula. There's a lot of characters that follow that formula. The protagonist of this short follows that formula. But I just really loved it. It's something it felt incredibly Star Wars.
Very much so.
I liked that it was a look at the day, like kind of a day in the life of a bounty hunter who's not really villainous.
Yes.
We don't get to see many more noble bounty hunters, right? So I really enjoyed the protagonist. The droid, her like droid partner.
Yeah,
the design didn't necessarily
didn't
work
love the
for me.
performance of it either. Of like, kind of odd.
It was just a little weird. I liked the concept of a droid that has like two different modes that kind of goes back and forth between those, kind of a dualistic thing. But just the execution there didn't work super well for me. But overall, I think this was one of my favorite of this volume.
Yeah, I knew it would be.
It was really fun. I loved the it's revealed that they're slaves, and the bounty hunter's like, yeah, it kind of seemed like that was something that was going on.
We kind of got like a little bit of a Temple of Doom type plot on this one.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And I, this employer being like, oh no, I have employees. They're all happy. They're wearing collars for their own protection.
They wanted to.
They don't interact with anyone and don't say any words because it's for their own safety and things like that. And then, obviously it's a slavery thing. And they get all their comeuppance as you want them to, and the slaves are freed and reunited with their families and stuff like that. It's a good time. It's very Star Wars. I think if any of our Clone Wars protagonists, if Anakin and Ahsoka ended up on this mission with this plot, it would be right at home.
Embo would run with this crew.
Yes, exactly.
It's just very much, I could see this crew in Star Wars very easily. I feel like these creators also get Star Wars. I would say the thing that's holding it back for me is the animation style of this particular one. I didn't love it, but I really love the story. I didn't love the execution of the droid, like you said. Like, I like the idea of it, but the execution was a little wonky for me. Yeah. But I thought the story was incredible.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's not my just preferred animation style and everything. I liked a lot of the bolder colors and things like that, but this is the same studio that did Attack on Titan.
No way.
Yeah, it's Wit Studio, WIT.
Huh.
Yeah, or they were at least involved in Attack
I wouldn't have thought that. That's cool though. That's they get the story of Star Wars. So like if they do a volume 4 and they do some more where they continue the story, this is one of those that I'm like, I would like to see what happens next with these two.
Yeah, and I think the protagonist's name is Seven. Does that sound?
I don't remember.
I only caught it though. We've only seen it through like the one time so far, but I think maybe the protagonist's name is just Seven, like a number. But I would like to see her next adventure. I think that'd be great.
She's cool. Yeah. She's cool. The next one I really, really enjoyed. It's Yuko's Treasure.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this one a lot. My one criticism of this is I don't really love the teddy bear droid design. I get it. It's like very anime. I understand that.
It's like a Totoro situation.
100%.
It reminded me a lot of Baymax as well from Big Hero 6.
Yeah. I get what they're doing, totally. I think it could have been my favorite one had they just changed the design of the droid. Like it took me out of it. Like it doesn't feel Star Wars at all, you know? And you're supposed to do that with these shorts. You're supposed to experiment and do things differently. It's just, again, like, I don't know if you're catching on, but I had a hard time with the Duel. I'm going to have a hard time with this one. But I love the story of this one, and it's very Skeleton Crew.
In terms of it's from a kid's perspective. It's a lot of childhood adventures. There's something very Studio Ghibli feeling about this one to me. Like it
Pirates
seems like
were cool.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, oh my gosh, the ending made me tear up a little bit with the holograms of the parents down there. I was like, what do we?
Yeah.
I'm feeling things. So like, I really, really enjoyed that one in particular quite a bit. And I love that it was on Tatooine too.
Yeah. It's fun to have things that are not affecting the entire galaxy also happening in locations that we know of, you know?
Right.
It's cool.
Just a familiar setting.
Yeah. I know you had issues with the design, but I really liked the overall animation style of this one. I thought the colors were really beautiful, backgrounds, everything like that.
Yep. I always try to think of like, would I want a Star Wars series like this, like animation style? Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I thought that one looked so good. I really enjoyed Yuko's Treasure. That's one that I definitely, because not all of them I'm gonna go back and rewatch all the time, but that's one that I would like to like rewatch sometimes. I think they did a really good job with it.
It had I think maybe the most heart of any of them.
Loved Yuko's Treasure.
Yeah.
Thought it was really good. It's a very heartwarming story, that one. All right, the next one, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I wasn't expecting this one to be my favorite. This one is my favorite of Volume 3. The Lost Ones. Absolutely loved it. Now, this one is also a sequel to one in Volume 1. And these could absolutely be canon. And they kind of are in my mind. Like, The Village Bride was the first episode in Volume 1. It follows the character of F. That's probably the biggest criticism I have of, like, you name your main character F.
It's very anime. I'm thinking of, like, Death Note that has a character just named L. Yeah. So.
Pick a different letter. I don't know if that one's going to work for us here.
X.
X would be great. X would be awesome. F is not working for me. Fantastic character, though. I think she's so cool. I think her whole vibe is awesome. Just terrible name. again, works within canon very easily, the first one and this one. Love the idea of the planet being overrun by the carbon mines that they'd been mining on the planet, and it's just like absolutely destroying the planet, and all the refugees are living on that huge spaceship above the planet. I loved that whole aspect of it, and how she kind of helped them and saved them, and then in return, once the Empire shows up, they help and save her out of that situation. I love that whole thing. But I think what I loved about this one in particular, Mac, is I love the mentor is now evil trope.
Yeah.
Love that. Love it. It makes the main character question everything every time that happens, of like, okay, you taught me these things, and now I've got to use the things that you've taught me against you.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, and there's something very Star Wars about that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, from any kind of master apprentice trials and tribulations fit right at home in Star Wars. I love the colors and stuff on this. The animation is a little flat sometimes.
I don't remember it being like that in the first one.
I do. I rewatched a few. Like I had The Village Bride was one that I rewatched shortly before rewatching or watching Volume 3, and that was a thought that I had for that one.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost you for a second.
Oh, all good.
Okay, mark that down. Sorry. Yeah, and the reason I feel like it could work as canon for me is because like the mentor Jedi character could totally become like an Inquisitor. Like, and that was kind of the design that he had a little bit too, and like the name he had was Zero, so it's like almost like he was maybe the first one that they experimented on and turned. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much cool things you could think of with this particular story. The Village Bride and The Lost Ones, and then whatever comes next. Because if they're gonna keep doing like, hey, let's make this into a series, this is the next one to make into a series after the Ninth Jedi, in my opinion. Yeah. Give them a book. I want to see a trilogy of this character F. Let's change the name, maybe. I don't know. Let's consider that like, or
F
like,
could just stand for something
fun. But you know what I mean? Like, just give me a little bit more. I want that world. I want that character. I loved this one. If there's one that you're going to watch, if you're just listening, you're like, I don't know if I want to watch this one. This one's really, really good. The music is awesome. Got to do more. I hope that they do a third one to kind of close this out, maybe at least. So, any last thoughts on The Lost Ones? No.
I don't know that I don't know that this one made quite the impression upon me that it has on you. But I thought it was very solid.
Yeah. Now this next one,
it's the last sane one.
It's the last sane one. Yeah. I think it might be my second favorite one. This is The Smuggler. Love the art style, number one. This might be my favorite art style of the entire volume.
Yeah.
I think this is another creative team that told a great Star Wars story.
Yeah, I agree. So it's Trigger Studio. They've been involved in just everything you've ever liked anime wise. Yeah. I think it was a lot of people that started at like Gainax. So they've done like Tengen Toppan, Gurren Lagann, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love the art style. I think it is so nostalgic of a lot of the anime series that I like from like the 90s and early 2000s.
90s anime. That's what it looks like.
Those are the series that I mostly find myself watching. Same. It's like the classics from those eras. That's kind of mostly what I watch in terms of anime. So this just evoked that in a really pleasing way.
Yeah, and I think this one has potential to continue as well. Like if they do a volume 4, I would like to see this story continue. I thought the character work was really, really cool. I like the idea of the prince in exile, and like when he reveals himself in that moment, the people of the planet were in shock and then immediately worked to get him out of that situation. I thought that was super cool of like, wow, this planet's awesome.
Yeah.
And just a really cool vibe. I like the protector character, who it seems like this old lady who's actually a former Jedi. I thought that was super awesome.
I mean, she's such a. I thought of characters like Jocasta Nu, like she's almost kind of in that archetype. Loved that. She's doing the Ben Kenobi thing.
She looked like a golden girl.
So
like,
that
one of the golden girls.
Yeah, that's a good point. So this whole short is just if it's like gender swapping Han Solo being hired by Luke and Obi-Wan in Mos Eisley. It's like same plot, the same kind of circumstances, everything like that. It's okay. This pair is on the run from the Empire for various reasons. It's a prince and she's a Jedi and stuff like that, but they're kind of keeping it quiet, just posing as, this old lady and stuff. And they find a, scrappy smuggler who's also fine with staying off the Empire's radar and is willing to work with them in that regard. And I think, the Jedi can see something deep down in the smuggler and all that kind of stuff. So it's really just a reframing of that entire act of A New Hope. And I enjoyed that a lot.
That is true. I didn't even think about that. And then they end up on Yavin 4, which is really, really cool. Just to see that in anime style, I thought was like, oh yeah. I like seeing these familiar Star Wars locations in that anime style. Like that's cool to me because the animation style that we get from Lucasfilm is its own unique thing to Lucasfilm, I think. And, that Clone Wars, Rebels look is its own thing, especially the Clone Wars, Bad Batch, now Maul, Shadow Lord look is its own unique thing. But I've always wanted a full Star Wars animation series that looks like this particular anime does. Yeah. Like you said, the 90s anime style, I've always wanted it, and we got it with this, and I thought it was so cool. The story is really cool. I thought the pacing of the story was really, really great on this one. And this is the last good one, in my opinion.
Not my opinion.
Black is good. Black is good. We'll talk about it. The Bird of Paradise.
So I want to go ahead and say up top, I am almost positive there is some folklore or mythological storytelling happening that I am not smart enough to understand. I am positive that is the case. I did just some cursory research to look and see if I could uncover anything. The Bird of Paradise is also called like the Phoenix in primarily some Chinese mythologies, but then there is some crossover into Japan as well.
The story of it. Okay.
Also, the aesthetics of this animation I thought were way more Chinese than Japanese in terms of the costumes and things. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not but that was just what it evoked to me. And there's the Phoenix, it's like Feng Wong, or I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that and stuff. I think that figure, that mythological figure, is involved in this storytelling with a lot of the imagery that was used in the Bird of Paradise title and the earring and everything like that. So I am positive that this is like an extrapolation of some really important archetypical, story or folklore or mythology or something that I am not aware of. But I am not aware of it. And so it was not a super engaging watch to me. I think I'm the issue here. I think I do not know enough to appreciate this one.
I agree with you 100% on that. Like if there's something that I'm missing, that's on me. Yeah. But I just didn't connect with this one at all. I didn't vibe with it. No shade to anyone that does. Like this might be somebody's favorite, and that is awesome.
And that's awesome.
That's great. I just don't think I was in the mood for this introspective journey.
It's also it's very long.
It's very long.
And it's broken up into the weird parts. And again, that seemed like, I think that's following some archetypical narrative structure that I'm just not familiar with and not accustomed to. But yeah, it was just it was a strange experience. At some point, I'd love to, after learning more about it and stuff, I'd love to revisit it and see if I can kind of glean something else. But for now, it was like the first time watching the last 2 episodes of Neon Genesis Evangelion, where like those entire episodes just take place in characters' heads and there's not anything actually happening. Yeah. The first time through, that's a rough watch. But then when you kind of fall in love with everything and on repeat watches, they mean so much more. So I guess, I think on repeat value, there could be something here that you don't get on the initial watch. But for me, it just it didn't connect.
So let's move on to Black, because I have nothing more to say about that or add to it. Black is not bad. So I did not say that. My note says this is art. This is truly like art. Like what this is art. It's moving.
Yeah.
But I didn't connect with it. Just to be 100% transparent with everyone, I am not in the headspace to enjoy this kind of content or digest it. It is obviously about war and trauma and grief and the horrors of war, like so obvious about that.
Yeah.
It's like an acid trip, I assume.
It's very psychedelic feeling.
But I had a really, really rough time with it. Like, I don't know also if there's like something in terms of, I have the same problem with Tim Burton. This is a hot take. I understand this is like only me. The color palette of Tim Burton stuff makes my stomach queasy.
Interesting.
This is that same feeling of like, there was like a lot of that pale green in there that I'm like, getting sick. I don't like that.
Yeah.
So, and that might be the purpose. Like, you know what I mean? This is clearly a stormtrooper on his last leg here.
Yeah.
And so what did you think about it?
So this may be my favorite short of the bunch.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really multifaceted piece. I think there's a huge element of it that is about jazz. The backing track clues you into that, and also the color palette, the animation styles are super. To me, I think of a lot of jazz era painters, where it became an era of, it's like Jackson Pollock's early stuff. There's a bunch of other painters like him who were at first like actually depicting the jazz scene in terms of actually painting people playing jazz and stuff like that. And then the colors and shapes kind of took on more of the qualities of the musics they were depicting, and the content kind of influenced the form in that way. I think that's certainly what's happening here. They're using this jazz freeform, very kind of abstract, expressionistic background to give us a look into the exact moment that the Death Star is exploding, and everyone who's stationed on that battle station is kind of, they're gone. They're being vaporized. It's that moment of contemplating your life, death, like what's like there's this they're constantly depicting the same stormtrooper fighting himself. One of them's in red, one of them's in green, but they're both missing the same arm. Their helmet's got the same damage. I think it's kind of this trooper's war to wrestle with, did I do the right thing? Was this path correct? Or are these doubts and fears and regrets that are eating at me, are they actually true? And then, looking back on his life before the Empire and maybe one of his first loves. And, he's for a moment, he's on the beach there, but then it's back to the chaos of destruction that his actions have caused and stuff. I don't know. I found it a really, really profound, just exploration of that single moment in a stormtrooper's life when his life is about to end because the reactor core is going up and
Luke is killing him.
Yeah. And it's everything that happens in the nanoseconds, like in the dilated time span before that's happening in his mind.
Yeah, the part that got me was when he looked like he had fallen to the planet and everything was falling on top of him, crushing him.
Yeah.
Of God, that feels a little too real for my life right now. You know what I mean? To process it, you know what I mean? It's just God, this is deep and cutting and scathing in a way that I wasn't prepared for, I think.
Yeah. It's certainly not a, this is it's I think it should be a hard watch, this is not a beautiful, easy, feel good thing.
This is not Yuko's treasure.
Right.
This is not that.
I think it's such an interesting exploration of an idea using such a particular framing that's so familiar to us. And I think the form it takes, both with the music and the color palette and the lack of definition and the abstraction of it, I think all of those things stylistically serve the content in a really cool way. I probably framed it poorly when I said the next two are bad. This one is not bad. I truly believe this one is art. This one is like Andor is art for me. Yeah.
Andor literally changed how I think.
Yeah.
I think that's this type of thing. It's just I'm not in the right headspace to receive it right now.
Yeah.
And I recognize that, and I want to come back to it when I am.
I do think this one will be the short that I come back to the most of any of the Visions shorts. Just because I think for me, it told me something, not told me, it's not like it's new information or anything that it's giving me, but the experience it gave me interacting with it, was valuable in a human way, right, not just a Star Wars way.
Yeah,
it
like
used
Andor.
Star Wars to convey this very human experience and idea. And to me, that makes it transcend a little bit in some ways. Because I think, I'm not saying, to me, Star Wars does that in a huge way. It uses art and everything to give us these human truths in a fantasy environment. So
right.
I think using the fantastical realm of abstract expressionism to explore this, the feeling, the concept, the idea, I think it was really a valuable experience.
Absolutely. All right, so let's not rank all of them. Let's just rank our top three.
Yeah.
So Black is your number one.
I think it's my number one. I was gonna put it at number 3, honestly, even just starting the recording and I finished watching these pretty much right before we started recording. But even as we've been talking, I think Black is the one that I've got to put at number 1.
Okay. What's your number 2?
I think I'm going to go with the Bounty Hunters.
Yeah.
I'm going from super, it doesn't even really have much to do with Star Wars, the reason I like it, to this thing was just a fun Star Wars ride.
Thing. Yeah.
And I loved it for that reason too.
Sure.
So I'm going to put the Bounty Hunters at number 2.
All right. Number 3.
I'm probably going to go the Smuggler, I think.
Okay.
I just, from the art style to the story to the characters to everything, it was just a really good time.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. My number 1 is The Lost Ones.
Okay.
My number 2 is The Ninth Jedi, Child of Hope. My number 3 is The Smuggler.
Nice. Cool.
So I'm curious to know what everybody else thought. What's your favorite? What is your preference? Did you love Birds of Paradise.
Yeah.
Are we
Also,
missing
like,
something?
If you get Birds of Paradise, please tell us, fill us in. Like, I genuinely want the information because I know there's something there that we're
missing it,
culturally not getting. So I would love to be informed.
Yeah, absolutely. Why should I change my stance on the Duel? All those things. But what I want to do now is shift from Star Wars Visions, which is so much fun, and I'm going to be revisiting since it's there. But I do want to talk about this huge news about the hunt for Ben Solo that dropped last week. We haven't talked about it on mic yet.
We've talked about it with our patrons a little bit. We had a bunch of people were on a Zoom call the other day, and we discussed it a little bit. We got some of their thoughts. We gave some of our thoughts. Right. But I think this is the first time we're really bringing it to the main feed. So yeah.
So okay. Random Monday afternoon, Adam Driver has an interview in which he says that he wants to come back to Star Wars. Number one, that is shocking news within itself because I did not think that Adam Driver was that guy. I thought he was going to be the Harrison Ford of the sequel trilogy of like, I mean, I like Star Wars, sure, give me a career, whatever, but I don't really like it. You know what I mean?
Well, he also holds that spot of like, the one of the big three who has had the most career before and after.
Yes.
Yes. Like he's still doing very serious dramatic work and stuff. In a way that like Daisy Ridley is not right now.
Right.
Or
John Boyega.
Exactly. Like, you know, Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher were not immediately going into other serious roles and stuff in the same way Harrison Ford did.
Right.
And so Adam Driver certainly was kind of in the Harrison Ford track. But I'm glad that he himself like loves the character of Ben Solo enough and enjoyed the experience of playing him enough that he himself was heading up a Ben Solo movie.
Which is insane. So he got Steven Soderberg to like jump onto this, who is a very like well-known director, like you know what I mean, like very legit,
very established, very. I mean, like that. He not a name I think of when I think of potential Star Wars directors. But.
Right. So they then pitched the idea to Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm loves it. Kathleen Kennedy loves it. Dave Filoni loves it. They see the vision. They had concept art created. Then they hired somebody to write a script for it. They said that the script, incredible. They have all this. They've got an incredible script. They've got an incredible idea. They have concept art that is just rocking. They take it to the executives at Disney, particularly Bob Iger and Alan Bergman. Alan Bergman took a long time to read the script, and then once they did, they shot it down.
Yeah.
They said no. And apparently, according to Soderberg, this is the part that kind of has me like, because up until he said this, I was like, this thing's getting made. I know that, you know what I mean? Until he said this, I was kind of like, ooh, maybe you shouldn't have said that. Until this, he was like, this has never been done before in like Lucasfilm, Disney, where like everyone's on board and then it's taken down by the executives. And they hinted at it wasn't really a story decision because like initially they were saying like they didn't understand how Ben Solo was back. Like Palpatine just returned and your explanation was somehow.
Yeah, there's no grounds to make that complaint.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
Because the grounds for his return, I think, are much better laid in terms of the dyad of Rey and Ben can bring him back somehow. Or
I do want to get into that aspect after like the initial break because I have some ideas.
Okay. But all that to say, Ben Solo is just as plausible to be back in the galaxy as any character who has come back. I mean, way more plausible than Maul, in my opinion. Ben Solo's in one piece. Like his legs are attached. Like,
they disappeared, but they can reappear. So like really what we learned from this news was that it was a little more of a political move than it was a story move in terms of, and now I will say this does make sense. This all happened in 2021. This is pretty fresh off of The Rise of Skywalker, and it not having a great reception. The sequel trilogy is still like the way that people talk about it is very hostile. And so I understand why their hesitation is to let's go back to that well and continue those stories. Now, obviously, they've shifted, and that is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Starfighter being the first of those movies to kind of kick us off after The Rise of Skywalker. But I understand there was initial hesitation there. But like, if it's truly such a good story as everyone is saying, you got to go with it. There's also some news that came out yesterday too that makes me still go back to, and I'm getting the red string and I'm like, what are we doing here?
The tinfoil hats are coming on at the moment.
I don't think we need tinfoil hats for this because honestly, this is the same play that Ryan Reynolds did with Deadpool. Like, kind of released that Deadpool footage. It was dead in the water. The studio didn't really want to do it, but then got that fan interaction and like positive, oh my gosh, we got to have this movie, even though no one really knows who this character is. And the movie got made. This feels like a coordinated thing in that same instance. Had they somehow released concept art, this thing would be announced already. Like, we're doing this movie, don't worry. You know what I mean? Like, if we had seen the concept art, because I think literally people's heads would explode seeing concept art about Ben Solo returning. But it feels coordinated in a way that's like, so what came out a few days ago is that Leslie Headland was planning for Kymer, the stranger from The Acolyte, best character on the show, in my opinion, like incredible. He was going to be the first Knight of Ren, like we talked about when we saw the show. It's like, we called that. We knew that's where we were going because they play Kylo Ren's theme when he's like bending down to Osha and stuff. And it's like, he was going to split off and be in an adjacent kind of Sith cult and be the very first Knight of Ren. And there's going to be a connection there. That news breaks really a few days after this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just feels kind of coordinated, honestly, maybe from Lucasfilm's side of it, of like,
it could be a psyop.
Let's get this made, people. But even if they don't make the movie, I think these concepts are going to find their way into the Rey movie. I think that they're going to find their way into what they're doing and their plans for the Simon Kinberg trilogy and beyond.
Yeah, and for me, I think the longer I've had to sit with this news and everything and the idea of the movie, I'm actually glad we're not getting the standalone Hunt for Ben Solo movie. I actually do think, especially now, it just pace-wise, energy-wise, it doesn't make a ton of sense. But I absolutely want to see those concepts worked into the ongoing stories with Rey's Jedi Order. I mean, to me, Rey is the main character of the sequel trilogy. I mean, I think she needs to come first. There needs to be a good story surrounding Rey first.
It's interesting that you say that, Mac, because Charmin Obiad-Chinoy, who is directing that movie, posted something very cryptic the day after this and basically said, no soul is ever truly lost, and it's like this dark shadow in a wheat field. Clearly referencing, that was not the quote, but it was the gist of the quote. Clearly referencing the Ben Solo stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like,
so I mean, we'll get Ben Solo back, I think.
I do too.
And the longer I've had to sit with it, I think I'm glad it's coming in that form instead of a
one movie.
Ben Solo movie right after.
Yeah, I think they'll start seeding it, and I think it'll be almost kind of like an event type thing of like, you got to see the next one to see the next step of this. You know what I mean? But what is trickling out from that news is that like the movie would be Ben Solo has somehow returned. I think we'll get the explanation of that. But like he's lost in the galaxy. So it's almost like the search for Spock.
Yeah.
From Star Trek, like that same concept. Honestly, it's that, but like
it's
maybe
also the concept from The Hunt for Red October.
Okay.
It's mostly just the name's very similar.
Yep. The Search for Gollum is coming out very soon. Just kind of a trend here coming. Okay, let's talk about how could Ben Solo come back. I think people's initial reaction would be the world between worlds, but that is not mine. I don't necessarily, like, I wouldn't be upset by that, but I want them to keep the rules that they established in Star Wars Rebels of like, yes, it's possible, but we're not going to do it that way.
Yeah. I also, especially when you have the dyad in the Force thing right there. Rey and Ben have a connection in the Force like no other two characters we've ever seen. So why not just utilize all that groundwork you've already laid you can kind of science fiction somebody back to life with a dyad in the Force pretty easy. Like,
yeah, like part of his essence is in her.
Exactly. Like Rey's kind of like a Horcrux for him almost.
Yes.
As long as she's here, he's always tied to the plane. But then like also you can bring up cool conflicts with, maybe he comes back and then something starts affecting Rey. Like because Ben's not supposed to be here and he is, like maybe Rey's powers start diminishing and there's a struggle. I'm just saying there's all kinds of cool things you can do with the thing you've already built, which is their particular special connection to each other. So why not just use that?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think you could maybe even connect it to the Chosen One prophecy of like, this is just another step of that. Like there's more to that prophecy than what we initially had with Anakin, and this is just like the continuation of it. Like the virgin birth clearly drawing from that aspect of it, but then the resurrection and return of it. You know what I mean? Like I think there's something there that you could play with. Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, I think we will end up seeing these concepts worked into the movies coming up, especially since I don't think you can tell the next chapter of Rey's story without addressing Ben at all.
I also feel like it fixes probably the biggest problem I have with Rise of Skywalker, because what's so interesting about that movie is if you break that movie up into just individual scenes, it's got some of the best individual scenes in all of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Put them together, for some reason, it just doesn't work for me. Yeah. And I think it's because the ending is Ben dies. And we talked about this leading up to the movie, find it way more interesting story to have Ben survive, because we've never seen a villain who's been redeemed have to live with the consequences of what he did and like work that redemption out.
Right.
And I would love to see that.
And like the weight of what he's done and his regrets and stuff being yet another temptation back to the dark side. Like I don't think Ben Solo's like soul has necessarily been saved yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I think
he's got to work it out.
There's still work to be done on the cosmological side with everything Force wise. I think there's plenty of narrative potential for, and I'd like to get eventually.
And I love that. Again, maybe I'm looking into it too much, but like when he has been Solo, he's a different person than he is when he's Kylo, because like think back to when he's on Exegol running through everything and then he jumps onto the big statue. Biggest indicator of change is the only thing he says has been Solo, by the way, is ow. That's the only thing he says. But think back to The Force Awakens. What is he doing in The Force Awakens when he's fighting Rey and Finn? He's beating himself where his wound is to drive the dark side energy within himself, that pain, to get him going. Now he's reacting to like just hitting something. He's saying, ow. That's not Kylo Ren.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's such a cool, clear indicator of a change of character that J.J. Abrams nailed. I just wish that there was more. Like, you didn't have to have him die. If you can bring him back, I think you fix one of, this is maybe a hot take, the biggest mistake in Star Wars. It's killing Ben Solo.
Boom. I don't know that I don't know that I'm willing to go with you at that being the biggest mistake in Star Wars, but I think like the third act of Attack of the Clones, maybe.
That's the best part of it. I think the second act is the biggest mistake.
It's like the transitional period between the second act and the third act. It's
Camino.
the entire
It's Camino. It's just like, ugh.
It's the Geonosian sequence. I think the factory.
Oh yeah, that one's pretty bad.
That's
with
what I'm thinking of specifically.
C-3PO on the battle droid.
Yeah.
That's
but actually, factually, the biggest mistake in Star Wars was taking away Yub Nub from the end of Return of the Jedi, I think.
Disagree. I will fight you on that one because it is that music, although great. I love that music. Not a good ending to that original trilogy. Like you got to have something epic. Right? Yeah. Like you got to have something that feels final and victorious, and Yub Nub's just not cutting it for me, buddy.
Yeah, but you know what happened when I was 4 years old and the second Death Star was destroyed and everybody had a happy ending? Yub Nub played. So that's what I want.
Okay, well, you're wrong, and so is 4-year-old Mac, so I'm sorry, kid.
Great.
It needs to be the new special edition version, in my opinion. So.
Alrighty. Well, I think this was a fantastic episode. We talked a little bit about Mandalorian and Grogu up top. We reviewed Volume 3 of Star Wars Visions, and then we talked a little bit about The Hunt for Ben Solo and what we would want to see about out of Ben Solo's stories moving forward. We really appreciate everybody listening. Next week, we are going to be back with the Mandalorian Rewatch Season 2, starting with Chapter 9. And we'll have some very special guests, Star Wars Explained. So look forward to that.
Go.
If you really like what we do, you can leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. That goes a long way to helping out the show. You can also support us financially at patreon.com/Mandalorian Watch. For just $2 a month, you get access to tons of bonus content and all kinds of cool stuff. When something's in season, there's all kinds of new extra content that you get. So check that out. Awesome Discord community that's very cool over there, and we even do some Zoom stuff and everything now and once and again. Once and again, I can tell I'm very tired.
We do book club too. We do a book club that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so check all that out on the Patreon, and tell your friends about us. If that's also the number one thing you can do is give us word of mouth promotion.
Could be a good Christmas gift. You can buy a whole year subscription for somebody else.
Oh, not a bad $24 Christmas present. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Well, anything to add, Alex, on Star Wars Visions Volume 3 or The Hunt for Ben Solo, any of that?
It's just great to be a Star Wars fan, and it's great to be a Star Wars fan with you, the listener, and thank you for listening. We love you, especially you.
You know who you are. All right, well, with all that said, we'll be back next week with The Mandalorian Rewatch Season 2. But until then, keep the watch.